Eagle Nation, it was not a dream. It really just happened. The Eagles go into MetLife in their first divisional game of the season and smack down the Giants. They play a complete team game, get a complete team win in all facets, offense, defense, and special teams. They make a statement. Saquon Barkley gets his ultimate revenge and shuts everybody up. And the Eagles are now 4-2 and may have actually just turned a corner. We'll talk about it all. But welcome into A to Z Philly. I'm RB. Do me a favor, like the show, go down below and hit that red subscribe button to help us get to 6K subscribers. Look, man, I tried to tell you. I told you all week that this was going to be the Saquon Barkley game. They can try to downplay it all they want. They can say that their approach is to look at it like another game, which is the right thing to do, but we all know the competitive drive, and deep down in his roots, Saquon Barkley wanted to stick it to the New York Giants, not only for not paying him, not only for not investing in the guy who literally gave his heart and soul to this organization for 6 seasons, but for going and making the statements that they did. It was publicized. It was on national TV saying that they paid Daniel Jones the $40 million man, so they didn't need to invest in Saquon Barkley. They didn't need to invest in Xavier McKinney. The GM put all of these statements out there for everybody to see, and we heard that phone call. He may not have known he was on the phone, but he was pissed off. So what does Saquon Barkley do? He goes marching right into MetLife, and he takes the life out of it. It's called the Met now. It's not even the life. There's no life. It's Met. It's only the Met because Saquon sucked the life out of that place. People were leaving in the early fourth quarter. How about 176 yards and a touchdown in 3 quarters? The guy was 13 yards shy of his career high. He could have had 250 if he played the whole game. That's why you should have paid him. Howie Roseman did not hesitate at the opportunity to sign this guy because he's not a middle-of-the-pack running back. He is not a dime a dozen. He is a game changer, and he's shown it all season long. He's worth every penny and more. Unbelievable job. And honestly, ladies and gentlemen, I could shed a tear. I could shed a tear after this because the Eagles finally did it. They found their identity. They established it early in the game, and they stuck with what worked. The Eagles ran the ball 45 times in this game. They only threw it 15 times. I cannot believe my eyes, but it actually happened. What we have all been screaming for years finally happened, and hopefully the Eagles can build on this moving forward. But man, Saquon Barkley, unbelievable. Although the Eagles did not score in the first quarter, again, they're still the only team not to score in the first quarter. They need to use the middle of the field more. I'm still a bit frustrated about that. But Jalen made some really good throws. He did not turn the ball over. I thought the turning point of the game was when he threw it to AJ on 4th and 2, I believe it was. An absolute gem right in the breadbasket for a 41-yard touchdown. Eagles were up 14-0 at halftime. When's the last time they could say that? Eagles got out, they punched the Giants in the mouth, and there was no looking back. But Saquon was the anchor, and he is what makes this team go. He is so special, and here's the first wild stat of the day. Saquon Barkley, 187 total yards in this game. Giants had 119 total yards as a team, and the Eagles rack up 8 sacks. They win 28-3, their biggest margin of victory in 2 seasons. But it gets even crazier. Through 177 rushing yards, Saquon has now broken the Eagles' record for most rushing yards in the first 6 games of a season at 659, passing LaShawn McCoy, who had 630 back in 2013. Saquon is generational. That's what happened. That owner, John Mara, who was on national TV almost crying because he's like, is Saquon really going to go to one of our division rivals? The GM said, don't fret. Don't worry. We'll be okay. Yeah? Well, the $40 million guy you said was worth it over Saquon was benched in the fourth quarter because that's how bad he is. Daniel Jones didn't even throw for 100 yards in this game. He was awful. He looks like a deer in headlights. The Eagles were able to get to him, and we'll get to that. But one more crazy thing. Saquon Barkley now has more touchdowns in MetLife this year than Daniel Jones. Giants are 0-4 in their own stadium, and Saquon Barkley has more touchdowns, 1, at MetLife than Daniel Jones. It's absolutely unbelievable. And not only does he leave, he goes to a division rival, and then he comes back and absolutely cooks them in the first match. I mean, it doesn't get worse if you are a New York Giants fan. And that is why some of these people in positions of power continue to overthink these things, and why organizations like the Giants will be mediocre and miserable. But I feel for John Mara, man. He knew not to do it. He gave up too much power. He relinquished too much power to others, and it resulted in this. I know he had to be sick to his stomach watching this game as Saquon Barkley, 176 yards on the ground. He had 11 in the air, 2 catches. Crazy that AJ had 5 catches in this game, and we know he's magnificent. Devontae only had 1 catch for -2 yards. Dotson wasn't used. No Goddard, no problem. Keep in mind, too, the Eagles had Becton go down early with an injury. You already have Fred Johnson in there for Mailata. The Giants' defensive line, who came into this week leading the league in sacks, was getting at Jalen Hurts early, and the Eagles adjusted, and they kept feeding the rock to Saquon because it was working. I thought Kenny Gainwell was great as that compliment as well. 13 carries, 56 yards. And if he can get back to a couple years ago, being that second guy and being a solid compliment, I think the Eagles have something special here in this run game, and it could really take them where they need to go. And now you have the blueprint. We all knew that this could work. Now you've seen it. You have physical proof, physical evidence. This is what needs to be done week in and week out. And it doesn't even matter that the O-line was banged up. Saquon is that good. Whether he's putting on a little spin move, a little stutter step, doesn't matter. Saquon can just burst. And he had 3 huge plays today. He's been doing about 1 per game this season. But how about 55 yards? How about 38? I think it was 41. The guy can just break away. His breakaway speed is incredible. And once he gets going, man, he puts on the burners. They can barely catch him. So Saquon Barkley was incredible. He led this team to a win. It felt like the right moment. It was the Saquon game. And the Giants have to be beating themselves down right now because how? Daniel Jones, 14 completed passes, 99 yards. The running game did nothing. And the other matchup of the day that I was keeping my eyes on, this was the first of probably many, was Quinyon Mitchell and Malik Nabers. And Nabers had 4 catches for 41 yards, the worst game of his rookie campaign. And maybe I'm a little bit too early to say this. I put it on Twitter during the game. But it is Quinyon Mitchell's time, ladies and gentlemen. I have no hesitations anymore. I had a bold take back in the preseason saying that Quinyon could win Defensive Rookie of the Year. 4 targets today, 2 catches allowed, 15 yards, no touchdowns, 59 passer rating. I think a couple of those catches Nabers had was on Slay. But when Quinyon was shadowing him, he absolutely locked him down. And Nabers is special, man. Quinyon Mitchell is becoming the leader of the secondary. Am I too early in saying that? After what we have seen now in 6 games, this was an absolute incredible investment by Howie Roseman. Keep in mind, Cooper DeJean is also playing his tail off too. Whether it's returning punts while Britton Covey's out or just tackling. I mean, the Eagles have been better tackling-wise. The defense played really well today. It's like we expect them to against the Browns and the Giants, but the fact they were able to get into the backfield 8 times, the fact that they were able to put pressure and not let Daniel Jones get any momentum with these little dinks and dunks. I got to give credit to Vic Fangio. I mean, 2 sacks for Nakobe Dean. He got chipped at one point, goes right over, gets in. Jalen Carter with 2 sacks. It was handout sack day. Anybody wants a sack, you can have one. Nolan Smith, Bryce Huff, Josh Sweat, Jalix Hunt got his first of the season and of his career. I mean, everybody was there. They probably had 20 quarterback hurries and hits. Daniel Jones is terrible. We already knew that. It's why the Giants will not be good until they get rid of him. And kind of right now, they're stuck. I mean, Daniel Jones probably the 2nd worst contract in the league. And last week, we saw the number 1 in Deshaun Watson. So the defense did a lot. I saw Fangio dial up a lot of different things. Just confuse the offensive line. And no, they weren't top tier by any means. But the Eagles did a good job getting to the backfield, sending some different disguises and really just putting pressure, man. This is what we've been waiting to see. Bryce Huff had a sack in this game. Ladies and gentlemen, hallelujah. You know your football team is garbage if Bryce Huff's getting back there and sacking the quarterback. So, look, man, an absolute confidence game for the Eagles defense. It's now 2 in a row. No, they're against bad teams, but if the Eagles can keep up this success, maybe force an interception. I mean, Quinyon's been close about 84 times now. But if they can just continue to put pressure on and keep this offense in games until they continue to figure it out, I think this could turn the corner for the Eagles. I definitely don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but man, this was a dominant win. Saquon's a superstar. Quinyon Mitchell's a superstar. Jalen Hurts has not turned the ball over 2 times in a row. And although the Eagles are banged up with injuries, it seems like they're finally building momentum because they finally were able to put a complete game together. And that's what I'm most happiest about. But give me your thoughts down below. What do you think about this game? How confident are you in the Philadelphia Eagles after this win? What a big time game. And hopefully they can build on this moving forward. The schedule is not really too hard in the next several weeks, so we'll see what happens. But appreciate everybody for tapping in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That being said, I'll catch you on the next one. Also, real quick, let's go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsor of today's video. It is the great BetMGM. Enjoy all your favorite sports like never before at BetMGM. Sign up using our code ATOZPA and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you do not win your first bet. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to parlays, live bets, player props, and daily boosted odds specials. And with BetMGM at your fingertips, every play and every game matter more than ever. So sign up today with the bonus code ATOZPA and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you do not win your first bet. Brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Download the app today. Please gamble responsibly.